Guys, welcome. What's going on? Today, I want to talk about how you can begin a podcast. I want to go through some of the tips and ideas that I have formulated after forming a few different podcasts. So sit back, relax, watch this intro. Tell me what the name is of your podcast or what you're thinking of creating down in the comments, as I'm going to want to check it out, and we'll get right to it. Alright guys, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is BROOKSCONKLE. Forgive my office, we're moving out and so everything's moving around. I have my destroy the box sign that's over here, my plants. It's sad, man. It's sad. I love this plant. It was up here on a shelf and now it's on the ground. So I believe that we shouldn't just think outside the box, we should destroy the box. And so in this video, let's talk about podcasting. I'm going to go through just thoughts, ideas, and I'm going to have some specific strategies that we're going to talk about based on what I've learned from producing a few of my own podcasts. For starters, in this video, I'm going to assume that you already know why you're doing what you're doing. Like you've decided, hey, I need to produce one. And if you haven't decided that, hopefully some information in this video will help sway you as well, that it's not as hard as what you're thinking. It's definitely easy. In my opinion, every brand or business should start a podcast for a few reasons. And that's not what this video is about, but I'll go ahead and say, because it establishes you as an authority in your space. There's still like a million or less podcasts, so it is not as competitive as like a YouTube channel or beginning a blog in today's world. Those things are also important as a part of your brand, but you have the ability to kind of get in while it's not quite as competitive as some of those others. All right, cool. So assuming that you've already chosen your niche, you have that narrowed down, what you're going to be talking about, why you're putting on a blog, why you're creating one, let's go ahead and just talk about some of the equipment. This is step one. It's a place that I have seen people get bogged down over and over and over. My opinion is grab something, get going. I think it's better to get going and improve along the way than to spend 1,000 hours doing research and then never actually taking action just because you couldn't decide on what microphone to use, right? So, you can record a podcast literally anywhere. I've seen people do it in their bedroom closets. Yes, you can put up soundproofing material, but one of the most important things is going to be your microphone. But don't get caught up even in that. You can do tons of research. There's hundreds, thousands of microphones. I'll give you a couple of different options right here. I'll show you. I'll put links down below so you can just click, hopefully, and get to them easily in Amazon if that's a place that you'd want to shop. I would get like an affiliate commission if you purchase from that link, but so whatever, go to Amazon.com, go to eBay, I don't care, it doesn't matter. But I'm just showing you a few samples. Two of the three, I have actually owned these, right? So let me talk about those. All right, so here's a classic one that I feel like people, put myself down there. Here's a classic one that I feel like people talk about all the time. This is the microphone that I owned before the one that I just bought. So this is the Blue Yeti. You've heard of it. If you have not, here you go. It is a great microphone. One of the issues with it that I will say is that it is a condenser microphone. So it's going to be a lot more sensitive on noise volumes in a room. And so it's going to pick up on a lot of stuff like, pss, pss, all the hisses, which I don't have a pop filter on my microphone right now, but it's going to pick up on potentially mowing outside in the yard. It's going to pick up on an air conditioner coming on. So that's one of the downfalls, but a huge benefit. It's plug and play. I do highly recommend a USB microphone. No, it does not have all of the settings that an XLR. You can scratch that. It's not even important. So you don't even have to have another module to use this microphone. You just plug it in and go for it. Okay. So I highly recommend USB microphones. This microphone, so a Samson Q2U. This is what I recently purchased. I'm actually on it right now. It is a It's made for podcasting or voice or whatever. It's a dynamic microphone, meaning that you can really get really close to the microphone, and I'm sure you're going to notice that the volume went way up when I did that, right? So you can get right up on the microphone. It's going to pick up just voice, so it's not going to pick up a lot of surrounding sounds. Also a USB microphone, which I love, meaning you plug it in and basically it works. You just choose it from, it automatically reads, installs the drivers automatically, and then you just choose it and record, right? So here's a third one, a more expensive. I don't own this one, but I did a quick research, and I do know that this brand is known for high quality content. So Shure microphones, a lot of people use these for podcasting. This one's specifically made for podcasting. So if you want the best of the best and you have a little bit of cash, to invest in your studio setup, go for it. Get this one, Shure MV7. And again, this one also a USB mic, which I think is pretty cool, especially if you're going to, travel or need to have a setup studio or just ease or whatever, right? At the end of the day, here's the point. Grab a microphone and get going. Like, a microphone really is like one of the main things that you need, and then you need an area that's not too bouncy. Maybe it's got some, like this room that I'm in is pretty bouncy, but when I say bouncy, I mean it's got a lot of bare walls. So something with cloth. Literally why people go into a closet or a room with a lot of carpet, in order to absorb some of that sound, and the sound's better. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to talk about boom stands. I'm not going to talk about sound foam. I'm not going to talk about type of computer or whatever. Whatever you have will work. Get a microphone. Buy one. If you're looking to start a podcast, buy one. As soon as you are done watching this video, heck, pause the video, click a link down below, buy one, and then let's keep going. Get the microphone on the way. All right, second pretty big important step, I would go ahead and knock this one out, is you're going to need to choose a podcast host. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I use Buzzsprout and I love them, and I actually have a referral link. I think you even get like $20 if you sign up with them. But choose any host. Choose any host that works for you. Let me give a quick explanation of what this is and why it's important to maybe choose one that has some benefits that works really well for you. So you have a podcast. Basically what it is, you're recording a file. Okay? You're recording an audio file, an MP3, whatever, like old school on your MP3 player, right? It's an audio file. However you get to that file, we'll talk about that later. That's kind of a future step. But you have the file. You're going to have it hosted by a podcast host. For example, Buzzsprout. What that host does is it has the file and it keeps it for you, and it sends out basically the signal to all of these other feeds that get feeds from the podcast host. They send a feed out, and that is how iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, even things like iHeart Radio, all of these guys are getting their feeds. Now Amazon has gotten into it recently. So this is where one of those benefits comes in of choosing a in the know like podcast host that's like in it, that they're on the cutting edge, is because so I originally chose and went with Libsyn. A good company, nothing wrong with Libsyn. In fact, so I was subscribed with them with my first podcast. I ended up switching. The reason is it's like they're kind of like a 2015 model vehicle. It's 2020 right now. That's a great car. It's only 5 years old. It's great. It's a great car. But Buzzsprout, I feel like, was just kind of like a 2020 model. Like the newest bells and whistles, and they were in it. They were teaching you how to do things, and that's what they do. And that's one of the benefits really that I found with them. And so you're going to need to go ahead and go out, and I would recommend to go ahead and sign up with a podcast host. All right, so real quick to show you a bit of Buzzsprout and what that looks like. So yes, you're going to go and you're going to compare all the hosts. It's another way to get caught up in the analysis paralysis. So don't take my word for it. Don't just go with Buzzsprout. I mean, there's a number of good companies out there. Just know that I actually went through the trouble of switching a podcast to Buzzsprout, which takes not a ton of work, but a little bit of work. So know that I did that for a good reason. Now, they start with the free plan. I'm going to tell you not to do this. Here's the reason why. If you're starting a podcast, if you're just doing it for fun, then great. Okay. So they host these for 90 days. After that, basically they're, I assume they disappear, which is not their fault. They're storing them for 90 days. So if you just wanted something that people could listen to, for short term, then okay, great. But if you want to actually create a real podcast lasting, you're going to need to get a paid plan. In fact, I think I'm still on this plan. It's actually enough for what I do. So I'm allowed to upload 3 hours of content in a month. Super simple. That's basically it. I mean, that's basically all you need to know. So, if you just do that math and realize, okay, and just go ahead and invest that money, you'll be really happy. All right, so now I would actually make the argument that you want to create multiple pieces of content before you actually announce your podcast. Okay, now you don't have to upload them all. I recommend 5 to 7 episodes. This is just a personal belief. This is nothing you have to do. If that stresses you out, just figure out how to make the first one. But the thing is that if you announce a podcast and then you only have 1 episode up and you send traffic to it, then, whatever. Maybe people aren't as excited, or they hear one thing and it's awesome, but there's nothing else for them to hear, right? So let me show you how easy it is, what you actually do. So this is my one of my podcasts. They make it super simple. So BuzzStream makes it super simple to actually switch between podcasts. That is another thing I could not do with Libsyn, that this is incredibly easy, which is why I ended up switching this podcast over to here. So, but I have an episode for this guy. So the Mobile Rundown Show. All you do is you click a button. There's something else too. Real quick, let me say this. If you had an assistant or someone that you wanted to help you, they make it really easy for you to do that. You can just add the person, and then they're able to log in and help you as well. So you're just going to click upload new episode. I could literally just drag and drop the file there, or I'm going to find it right here. I'll upload it. It's going to take a bit of time because this is a pretty big file, the file that I got from my guy. So, but we'll let that upload, and I'll come back in a little bit and I'll show you. But over here, some options you have is you can leave it unpublished. You can publish it immediately, or you can schedule it. So, but what's cool is that even if I schedule it to come live at a future time, or I want to leave it unpublished, I can still actually take this and embed the file, or I can just share the individual episode before it goes live. And so to me, that's a pretty cool thing as well. And so basically all you do is you'll put your title, your episode description here. There's default artwork that you upload, but you can actually choose a special file for that episode if you want to. And then once you're doing that, you basically you save the episode. So for now, I'm gonna leave it unpublished. And when I'm ready, I'll publish that episode. Super easy. But the other part I want to show you, and what I think Buzzsprout does really well, and this is something you're going to want to do. Okay, I'm going to leave. Yeah, let me. I'm going to click OK so I can go and show you this, and I'll come back and upload that later. No big deal. So these directories, this is where you guys, you probably listen to podcasts at some of these. So some of these are going to be super important. More important than others. Now, even though it says not listed, I think I've already actually applied to be a part of this. And actually, I think I'm on Pandora as well. I think I did them individually before I ever signed up here or moved the podcast over or whatever. But what you can do is you click and go over, and they will walk you through exactly what you need to do. Exactly what you need to do. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and click this because I think I've already done it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. But they walk you through each of these, and so that's huge. You're not left to your own devices. When I set up my first podcast before I was a customer of Buzzsprout, it wasn't crazy. I just didn't know exactly what I was doing. I didn't understand what is the host doing? What are these feeds? How do I get to iTunes? It seemed more complicated than it is, and I think it was just because the company, Libsyn is who I was using. Again, not a bad company, just they didn't explain it or make it really simple. But Buzzsprout makes it really simple. Like, you just come in here and just follow their instructions, and then your podcast will now be on, for example, Stitcher. So if someone uses the Stitcher app to listen to podcasts, you will be listed in there. Otherwise, Stitcher doesn't know that you exist, right? If you don't send your feed to them. Same with Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So this is something that will be a part of setting up your podcast. So easy, but you're just going to need your artwork, your information. You need to go ahead and upload some episodes. Like, I think you saw that in Amazon Music. It said, hey, you have to have like at least one episode uploaded or whatever. So, but that goes back to my strategy of like, go ahead and plan on getting, 5 to 7 episodes before you even really get this thing going and submitted, because it's a process, right? It's an entire process. All right, so now you're probably thinking, okay, great. So how do I make these episodes? Like, what do I do? So I use a program called Audacity. Now, again, this is somewhere that you can get caught up. You can do analysis and get really confused. You can do one of two things. You could hire a company to help you, put together your product where all you do is just record the meat of what you're doing, kind of like the content, like this right now for this video. You could record that, and then you could hire someone that helps you put on the, like an intro and outro and some music, or you can figure it out yourself with Audacity. I can tell you, a little bit of a learning curve, but it is not that hard, and Audacity is completely free to use. It's open source. It's what I would recommend. You just have to learn it. It's like learning anything new. I will put some videos up here on Audacity. I've got some on my podcasting YouTube playlist. I was going to say channel, but on my playlist, this playlist, I'll put a link to the playlist where you can see some stuff that I do in Audacity. You can see me working in a podcast file and how I edit it and how I actually make one as a template. And once you understand some of the pieces of it, you can just continually do it. You could then train someone else to do that yourself, or you could just, from the very beginning, you could find someone and hire it out. Totally depends on your budget. If you have the money to do it, hire it out so you don't have to learn the skill. But if you want to keep it in-house and keep the control, and then go for it. Now, where do you get music for your intro and outro? Simple. There's a YouTube license, the Creative Commons license. What am I trying to say? YouTube like audio library where you can use any of that stuff if you would like to. I'd recommend purchasing a song. Yeah, you can use Audio Jungle, Audio Hive. Hold on one second. Let me pause this so I can tell you. And I'm going to put a link down below for you too. Bam. There it is. Okay. AudioJungle.net. But what I was actually trying to think of was Envato. So it's a part of the Envato market. I think I'm saying that right. Envato market, which is crazy. They have everything you can need. But in the world of audio, you could purchase a royalty-free track that you're allowed to use in your projects and then use it. Use it for your intro or your outro, or buy 2 different pieces, whatever. So figure it out, right? Work with Audacity. Get in there or hire someone. No problem. That's literally it, guys. So if you want to, let me recap real quick. Go back, watch the video again. This is literally all that you need. You could watch another video on how to start a podcast. Doesn't matter. This is it. So you know your niche. In fact, use the recommendations that I gave you if you want. It'll be so much easier for you. If you want to just snag one of those microphones, I'm using the Samson one right here. Link down below. Cool. Buy it. You're great. Sign up for Buzzsprout. Highly recommended. I moved the podcast over to them. Love it. And I do have a link down below where you get a deal, I get a deal. We all get a deal. We all win. I think you get $20 or something. I think I get $20 or something once you become a paid customer. Anyways, don't go through the link. Doesn't matter to me, but I highly recommend them. So do that. Learn Audacity. Audacity's free. Or find a company, hire them to build some episodes for you. Go ahead and build some episodes. Get in there, grind it, learn, do it. Once you have 5 to 7, upload those to Buzzsprout, sign up for the directories, get your podcast now listed on those other directories, then and only then, as crazy as this sounds, then go out there and tell people about your podcast. I know it sounds crazy, but don't tell people that you're about to launch one episode, and then you have no idea what you're doing, you never do it again. get those episodes in there, 5-7 episodes, and then say, hey, by the way, if you want to check out, I have a podcast episode on that, or do an official launch, or whatever you want to do. But those are the steps that you take. I'm pumped. Comment down below. Let me know what in the world your podcast is going to be about. I'm excited to hear it, listen to it, check it out, network with you, maybe have you on my podcast. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. But I hope if there's any other questions that you have based on what I talked about in this video, I will personally answer them. So comment down below. Let me know what those questions are. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do it. I'd love to connect with you. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care.